When I first heard about this one, I thought it had to be a joke, but I did a little bit of a digging, and lo and behold, it's a real news story. G'day folks, Aussie Overlord here, attorney from Melbourne, Australia, bringing you another legal snippet. Three young would-be burglars, including Jacob Redfern, decided that breaking into a house was a grand idea, only to be met with their unfortunate end via an AR-15 held by the homeowner's son, Zachary Peters. Now enter Leroy Schumacher, the grieving grandfather who seems to think this whole scenario was bringing a gun to a knife fight. He's actually arguing that the AR-15 gave an unfair advantage, which, let's be honest, is a bit like complaining that gravity gives an unfair advantage to falling objects. Now, just to give you the Cliff Notes version of it, grandfather of teen killed during burglary says AR-15 made the fight unfair. Three Oklahoma teens were killed after breaking into a house and being greeted by the homeowner's son and his AR-15. After their demise, one suspect's grandfather came out about the circumstances surrounding his death. Leroy Schumacher, the grandfather of the slain Oklahoma burglar, decided to speak out after his 17-year-old grandson's death. Jacob Redfern, who had previously been in foster care, was one of the three teens killed when they broke into the house and came face to face with the barrel end of an AR-15. And Leroy has a pretty strong and, in my opinion, undefensible opinion about what went down that day. According to Leroy Schumacher, even though his grandson was in the middle of an armed burglary, seems that he left that little bit out, when he was killed, his death was unjustified. The grandfather acknowledged that breaking into the house was stupid, yeah, no shit, but he said that the AR-15 gave the homeowner's son an unfair advantage over the three burglars. Personally, I'm not a fan of Leroy's sentiments here. When you break into someone's home, you're banking on a lot of unknowns. Maybe the homeowner's son was having a bad day. Perhaps he was just really protective of his dad's rifle. The point is, when you're wearing all black and masks, wielding weapons, you're not exactly broadcasting peaceful intentions. Peters, hearing the chaos, grabbed the nearest thing to defend himself, which, unfortunately for the teens, was an AR-15. It's not like he had a lot of time to weigh the pros and cons of the weapon of choice in the middle of a home invasion. Weirdly, Leroy seems to believe that there should be some sort of equality in a home invasion, but let's face it, when you choose to burgle someone's castle, you're not exactly signing up for a duel. You're more likely signing up for a swift lesson in why it's called castle doctrine. Burglars don't get to choose the terms of the engagement. They're the ones breaking the social contract and breaking in to steal someone's property. If anything, the AR-15 was just one way that a homeowner can say, "Welcome to my not-so-humble abode. Please don't tread on me." So what actually are the circumstances? Well, it all came to a head when 21-year-old Elizabeth Rodriguez, a baby mama of three who was living at the time with the three teenagers, decided that she needed money for rent and orchestrated the whole event for the three teens to break into the house and steal what they could. They first stole liquor, speakers, and a machete from the garage, and it's then that Rodriguez said that they got a little bit greedy and decided to rob the main house. Now, this is where the owner's 23-year-old son, who was having a nap, basically was confronted by three completely black-clad, mask-wearing, and armed individuals breaking into his home. It shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody that decided to retrieve his father's AR-15 and deal with it in a way that he felt appropriate. He felt as if his life was threatened. He was unsure exactly what other weapons they may have on them. So, as he put it, he feared for his life against the masked intruders, and being worried that they had a further weapon, he opened fire. When asked if they tried to hurt him, he said he never gave them the chance. He shot the suspect closest to him first and didn't stop until the last suspect had managed to run out of the house. That's when he retreated to his bedroom, locked himself inside, and called 911. During the call, he showed his humanity by pleading for them to send medical help for the suspects, but it was already too late. By the time the sheriff's office got there, ordered Peters to drop his gun and follow their orders, they'd already been confirmed dead at the scene. Even though Rodriguez later admitted that one suspect had managed to slide over the hood of the car that she and another underage girl were in, sliding across the hood saying, "I got hit." It was then that Rodriguez, who was not injured, fled. Classy. Rodriguez later went to the police, confirmed that she was completely at fault. She's been charged with 2 counts of burglary, as well as 3 counts of first-degree murder, because Oklahoma law says that if someone dies in the commission of a crime, you can be charged with their felony death. For her part, she can face life in prison or even the death penalty, but it's the homeowner's son and the AR-15 that the grandfather seemingly blames for his son's death. Leroy argues that death wasn't the right consequence for their actions, suggesting some sort of proportional response. The law, particularly in states with stand your ground provisions, don't require a homeowner to engage in a fair fight. It's about survival, not a balanced bout. And let's not forget, these teens weren't just there for a chat and tea. They came armed, ready to potentially harm if necessary. What these boys did was stupid, Schumacher admitted. They knew that they could be punished for it, but they did not deserve to die, he continued. Brass knuckles against an AR-15, come on, who was afraid for their life? You have no idea what the homeowner's son's state of mind was like at the time. As far as he was concerned, 3 completely black-clad individuals breaking into his home could be carrying any number of weapons. It was purely just that they hadn't pointed them at him. Why on earth would you give anyone the opportunity to do so? While Leroy's grief is understandable, his perspective seems to miss the broader point about personal responsibility. The teens chose to commit a crime, and while no one wishes for a fatal outcome, the reality is sometimes very stark. It's a harsh lesson in life's unpredictability and the consequences for one's actions. In the end, while everyone can agree that the loss of young lives is tragic, the narrative of an unfair advantage overlooks the fundamental truth. Don't break into someone's home unless you're ready to face whatever's behind door number 1. And for those thinking of following in the young men's footsteps, remember the universe can have a peculiar sense of humour. Sometimes it will answer your greed with lead. Well, folks, that brings an end to this Aussie Overlord snippet. As always, if you've enjoyed the content, make sure you leave a like and hit that subscribe button. Or, just double check whether or not you're still subscribed. And as always, please remember you're not a piece of crap. You have value and do contribute to society. And as always, stay healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I will catch you all on the flip side. Cheers, peeps.